Oh, I got the hiccups. Welcome to Sadlier Level D, Unit 5B Vocabulary. Our first word for this unit is accomplice, which is a noun. It is a person, I guess, or it could be an animal, but it is a thing. It is a noun. And it's a person who takes part in a crime. Your synonym is partner in crime, and there are no antonyms. Your only other form is the plural noun form accomplices. You might not recognize the characters from that picture. They are from the movie Hercules. They are known as Pain and Panic, and they are the accomplices to Hades, who is like the lord of the underworld. And they help him out with different things. They do some of his business for him. A lot of it is not super legal. So they are taking part in an ancient Greek crime. For our sentence, one of my students wanted to steal the Unit 5 vocab test, so she asked another student to be her accomplice and watch the hallway when she snuck into the room to look for it. I'm just kidding. That did not happen. Don't do crime. Crime is bad. All right. Next word is annihilate. It's pronounced annihilate, and it's a verb, and it means to destroy completely. The town in There Will Come Soft Rains was annihilated, other than our house, which is our main character in the story. Your synonyms are obliterate and decimate, really fun words. Your antonyms are foster, promote, encourage, and nurture. You have other verb forms of the word annihilated, annihilating, and annihilates. Her picture, obviously you can see everything has been annihilated, destroyed completely. And our sentence, Mrs. Worrell's love of setting fires led to her accidentally annihilating a local abandoned barn when the flames got out of control and burned it to the ground. Don't do crime. All right, we get to Brazen. Oh, and you can't really see the picture. Let me move myself for a second. See if I can get that out of the way for you. There we go. Brazen is an adjective that means shameless, impudent, or made of brass. If you think about the shameless and impudent part of it, this is from a roast of Justin Bieber, and a lot of the comments that are made at a roast could be considered brazen. All right, I'm going to put myself there over on Burgundy. Your synonyms are saucy and bold. Your antonyms are deferential, respectful, and self-effacing. You've got two other forms, the ly adverb ending brazenly and the ness noun ending brazenness. Some of my students are very brazen in class when they discuss all of their petty theft from Wawa and the corner store without being worried about getting into trouble. Seriously, stop doing crime. No more crime. No more crime. All right, our next word is exodus, which is a noun. Be careful with this one. It is not a verb. Do not use it as an action. You need to use it as a thing. It's a large-scale departure or flight. Your synonyms, escape and hygira. Your antonyms, immigration, influx, arrival, and entrance. There are no other forms of this word. Our picture is from a really, really famous Old Testament story that is Moses parting the Red Seas so that there is an exodus as he leads his people out. And our sentence, my students hate literature class very much. So sad. So when the bell rings, there is an exodus out of my classroom doors as they try to leave as fast as possible. And you'll notice we have an article before the word exodus, an, which only articles are used before nouns. So we know that exodus has to be a noun. It is a thing. They don't exodus out of my classroom. There is an exodus out of the classroom. Our next word is latent. It's an adjective that means hidden, present, but not realized. So it's there, but it's not necessarily in action or something people even realize is there. Your synonyms might be really helpful for this one. You have dormant, like a volcano, like we have in the picture. A dormant volcano, we know there's lava, but it's in there. It's not realized. It's hidden until that volcano actually erupts. It is dormant. That's the same idea as latent. You also have inactive and undeveloped. You could have latent skills, like I used in my sentence, things that are there, but you haven't realized they're there yet. Your antonyms are exposed, manifest, and evident. Adverb form latently. Be honest, I don't hear that one very often. I more often hear the adjective form of latent. Many of my students claim they don't like literature or aren't good at writing, but seem to have latent skills that I can see in free writes. You'll get there, I promise. When I look at some of your writing, you don't think you're very good at it, but I can see that there are latent skills there, that there's just, you need to work a little bit and then you're going to be fantastic at it. It's just not realized yet. All right, now we've moved on to morose. Great word. It's an adjective that means having a gloomy or sullen manner, not friendly or sociable. It's more often used for the first part of the definition, that gloomy or sullen manner. You can feel really morose about things. Your synonym is morbid. Your antonyms are blithe, jaunty, and buoyant. Buoyant not meaning can float on water. Buoyant meaning happy and up mood. You've got your ly adverb ending, your ness noun ending, similar to a lot of other adjectives, morosely and moroseness. We have a very morose looking robot. He's so sad. And our sentence, the winter weather makes me very morose. I get seasonal depression and the cold and wet makes me not want to leave the house. So I'm also less social. So the definition fits both parts of that. I'm not a fan of the cold, wet, gross winter weather. We get to opaque, which is an adjective and a word I'm hoping is a little familiar to you, or this reminds you that you do actually know this word. Opaque means not letting light through. Can also mean not clear or lucid. So you could write something that is very opaque. It's not super clear. It's hard to understand. You could also use opaque to describe someone that is dense or stupid. That's not quite as common though. Your synonyms are hazy, cloudy, foggy, murky, dull, and obtuse. Your antonyms are transparent, clear, bright, and perceptive. Same thing as our other adjectives for the most part. ly adverb ending, opaquely, and the ness noun ending, opaqueness. And you've got that picture of an adorable little cat. On one, he is on the other side of a transparent door, one you can see through. And on the other, it's an opaque door. You cannot see through it, so our cat has to poke his head around to the side. For our sentence, sometimes I feel like my brain is opaque when it comes to math because I don't understand it and nothing gets through. So I've used opaque in that sense in not quite a literal manner like the door in the picture or something that you literally can't see through, but in the, it's a little dense, it's not super clear, things don't really get through for me when it comes to math. All right, really fun word, prattle. It's both a verb and a noun. So as our verb form, it means to talk in an aimless, foolish, or simple way, or just to babble. So you can prattle on about things. You can do that as an action. You could be like, that baby over there is really prattling up a storm. He's babbling like crazy. The noun form, which is the thing, is baby talk or babble as, again, the thing, the noun form. Your noun synonyms are twaddle, gibberish, and piffle. You have no antonyms. Your other forms, you've got other verb forms, prattled, prattling, and prattles. And then you have a noun form. So the one that is doing the prattling could be called a prattler, that ER noun ending. A man in our picture says blah, blah, blah. He's clearly prattling quite a bit. In my sentence, sometimes it feels like Miss Beck just keeps prattling on about Shakespeare and Chaucer, even when her students have stopped listening. It's like the teacher from Charlie Brown. And if you are unfamiliar with the teacher from Charlie Brown, you should Google it, and then you'll really understand what I'm talking about here. And I won't just be prattling on about the teacher from Charlie Brown. All right. This word is stagnant. It is an adjective, and our picture is very symbolic. Our picture for this one is not a literal meaning of the word, but it means not running or flowing, foul from standing still. Those two really refer to water, stagnant water, water that has not moved and has kind of gotten that algae on top of it. It's not water that you would be safe to drink. But you can also mean stagnant for anything that is inactive. A person could be stagnant. So in our picture, that person is clearly stuck. They're not moving. So you could describe them as stagnant, inactive of some kind. Your synonyms are still, motionless, inert, sluggish, and dull. Your antonyms are flowing, running, fresh, and sweet. Your other forms, stagnancy, which is a noun, and stagnantly, which is an adverb. In my sentence, Tucker is my cousin. And when he is forced to write essays for class, he feels like his creativity is stagnant and he can't come up with ideas. But when he can do his own writing, it flows. So if he gets to write for himself, he's great. He just feels stagnant when he can't be super creative. Succumb is our next word. That's the pronunciation, succumb. It is a verb and it means to give way to a superior force or to yield. You can succumb to something, a disease, a person. In my sentence, suggestions. That in our picture, that man is, telling him to do certain things, and the man who's bowing has succumbed to the superior force of clearly the boss man in the tie. Your synonyms: submit, die, or expire. The die and expire would be if you succumb to, an injury, an illness, a disease. It's not just a straight synonym for death in general, but you can also succumb to death. Your antonyms are overcome, master, and conquer. And you have your other verb forms of the word: succumbed, succumbs, and succumbing. My sentence, this is a true story. When I was 16, I was hypnotized during a show. And when I succumbed to the suggestions, I ended up slapping an elderly man across the face. That's a true story. That is something that actually happened many, many years ago. And with that lovely last sentence, that is the end of our 5B vocabulary slides.